still firmly believe that the roundness of the cigar is, to us, a very, very important. But roundness in the cigar is great one day, but we must do this every day. Contrary to wine, where they have it great. They have two wonderful advantages over us. The one is every year is different, so whatever shows up this year, that's where we are. The second is they blend liquids. Gallon of this, gallon of that, stir, we're done. We're blending solids. Blending solids is not an easy proposition. In a 50 ring gauge, we can put the blend in its entirety as we have described it. 2 leaves of this, 1 leaf of that, 1 leaf of that. The 50 ring gauge allows us to put those 4 tobaccos in the blend. But somebody says, but the 40 ring gauges are selling well today. You should have a 40 ring gauge. And then you go, yes, but a 40 ring gauge, you don't fit all the tobacco that a 50 ring gauge takes. That is not an easy proposition. So now we have to take the proportions of this blend, and now we go to half leaves. We even go to quarter leaves to make that blend into a thinner ring gauge, perform in the fashion that the differences will be very little between a 40 ring gauge and a 50 ring gauge. Now, I accept that the length of the cigar and the ring gauge of the cigar will affect the smoke, no doubt. But in the overall roundness of the blend, the 40 ring gauge has to remind you of the 50 and vice versa. So that becomes also a critical point in the blending. Blending is nothing more than a pyramid. We start with 8, 10, 12, 20 different tobaccos, and we start mixing them together, putting them together, smoking, discarding, adding more, keep going up until you get to the top. This is the blend. And I will accept and recognize that in all that process, the ego of the blender plays a very important part. After all, we know what you all want, and only we know what you want. So the ego comes and plays a part because we have a palate, and we taste and we say, this is the cat's meow. This is going to be God's gift to the world. And then they bring the samples to your desk and you go, who ordered these samples? This is the raunchiest thing I've ever smoked. Dad, you asked for that 2 weeks ago. Oh, I did. Okay, back to the drawing board again. Let's continue blending. This didn't work. But this is the fun part of the business.